We're having a beautiful day out here in Sriracha, but a not so beautiful low tide. There's been something on my mind in recent months living here. I feel like I'm a little bit tired. And the one thing about putting your thoughts out there online is you've got to try and articulate them in a way where people aren't immediately just, go home then. There are different nuances to this type of feeling. It's not a case of just be happy, be 100%, always be switched on, or go home because you hate it. There are different circumstances. I think people here in Thailand need to calm down a little bit sometimes. And I'm not talking about the trolls in this one. I'm talking about the pro Thailand vloggers. Now, I've put plenty of positive stuff out there on Thailand in the past, but that doesn't mean everything about my existence here is positive. And I try to offer a little bit of balance, to offer a little bit of a different perspective in the sense that I've lived in 3 different countries. I talk about that quite a lot, but I'm so thankful for that experience because what I see out here, the people who promote Thailand sort of blindly, everything is perfect, is probably a lack of experience. You come in from the UK where everyone is supposedly depressed right now to this beautiful country. You're living in paradise. The cost is incomparable. You get so much more bang for your buck. Of course, everything seems perfect. It took a lot of people out of the UK and put them in North Korea right now. It's like, don't believe everything you see about North Korea. It is not as bad as people make out online. You'd have those type of people online if they did indeed allow North Korea influencers. It can get a bit tiring. I think an example I can give you, look at this beautiful, stunning view, by the way, behind me. Perfect clear sky today, rainy season, if you will. Got Koh Si Chang over there in the distance. But I think one of the examples I'll give you is this concept of like, I moved to Thailand because the people are so nice. That is bullshit. If it cost the same price as it did back home, you wouldn't be living here regardless of how nice the people are. But let me give you a little example. Thai people are very nice generally, but this weekend alone, I have had 3 experiences in a supermarket, in a restaurant, in another establishment where the service has been fucking awful. One restaurant we went in yesterday, they had one of those QR code menus. It wasn't working, so my wife calls the waitress over. She seemed so inconvenienced by the fact that we had to, that we had to order the food with her, the waitress, rather than simply ordering it on the application, whatever you want to call it, that was not working. And I was a bit annoyed, to be honest, because just the tone that the girl was speaking to my wife with was just so unnecessary. Yes, people are generally very, very nice. I'm not denying that. I think some people just come out here so blindly and just drink the tea, if you will, because it suits their narrative. And ultimately what they want is for people to follow them and think, oh, look at this guy, the Team Thailand, the voice of positivity. I get it, because if you put a negative opinion online, people are like, fuck off back home then. But then it doesn't all have to be blind positivity, because that doesn't really help people who are genuinely using that person, that information as a resource into whether they want to move out here or not. But this video isn't about doom and gloom. The good part of living here is that it is exactly what it says on the tin. This is what I would say is the good part of living in Thailand. If you're prepared to come out here and do what is necessary to live out here, live here legally, I mean, there's lots of visa options depending on your situation. If you're prepared to jump through those hoops, once you jump through those hoops, you do get a more peaceful lifestyle. You get a lot more bang for your buck in terms of your accommodation, these, luxury condos, regardless of whether you're going to live in a little box in the middle of Bangkok in a swanky area, or if you're going to get yourself a little bit away from the hustle and bustle. It's going to probably be nicer than a 1-bedroom apartment on the outskirts of London that you're paying £1,000 a month for. 1-bedroom house share, I should say. I do see why so many people are suddenly on the whole UK. I want to leave the UK. Fuck the UK. The UK is the most depressing place in the world, because they want a better quality of life. You only get one shot at this. And I'm proud of myself that I've managed to set myself different goals And I've managed to achieve those goals. I wanted to go out to Korea. That was a sort of decision that I made on a whim, was to go out to Korea. But when I was out there, I absolutely loved it. And I was like, how could I turn this, short-term experience into a long-term situation? And there's a lot of stuff I don't talk about on this channel because it's no one's fucking business. Explored the possibility of moving to Tokyo. Boom. A year later, I was there. I was in the middle of the big city. And I'll be honest, here's another one for the people who want to blindly follow the first place that they touch down in. I know people who moved to Korea on the same day as me who are still there now. Probably because they became so comfortable, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, that they never left. I started to get itchy feet after 3 or 4 years. So I went to Tokyo. I met people in my first week, 2 weeks in Tokyo, that had already been there 5 years, that are still there 5 years after I've left. That's their story. That's their lifestyle. Now for me, I wouldn't be here in Thailand if it wasn't for the fact that my wife is Thai, my baby's half Thai. I wouldn't be here in Thailand. I'd come here on a holiday once a year. Definitely. I'd be here all the time. I'd be fucking loving it. I wouldn't be living here. There's other places in the world that I think are more suited to me, my interests, the way I want to live. Doesn't mean I don't like Thailand. It just means, realistically speaking, I haven't come to one place and get a visa for that I can make a little bit of money in. I need to dedicate my entire personality to that place. I need to become Mr. Thailand. Not just Thailand either. I love Korea. So many people nowadays define themselves by being part Korean, and they're just piggybacking off the back of these pop stars that people like, right? It's weird. Imagine if I defined myself as being British. If I put GB Bobby, hey, this is GB Bobby, because that's what a lot of them call themselves, K da-da-da, Korean da-da-da. If I put GB Bobby, people would be like, what's GB? Gay boy Bobby, or B Bobby, British Bobby, Batty Bobby. That's what they would call me. They'd be like, oh yeah, I know what B stands for. It stands for Batty Bobby. It's short for Batty Bobby, or Gay Boy Bobby. You ever go to Korea, take it from me. Get yourself out of Seoul. There's so much more to Korea, so much more than Seoul. Seoul's great. I used to live bang in the middle of Gangnam Style. Like literally the richest part of Seoul. Not because I was rich, because I just got given an apartment there. It was fucking great, to be honest. And I used to get off the train at Sinsayok. And you go up the escalator to get out of the metro. And whereas in London, you'd see signs for like Lucasade, Nike, McDonald's, etc. In Sinsa Station, where I used to live, plastic surgeon number 1, plastic surgeon number 2, plastic surgeon number 3. That amazing culture. It's an amazing, beautiful people, like some of the nicest people I've ever come across. But that kind of aesthetic, superficial side of it, now I feel like has become so prominent. Nowadays, because I'm still in the Korea social media space, let's say, I've still got a couple of connections there. You see the white influencers in Korea, and they're all just doing everything they can take to assimilate. That's another thing that you need to be careful of when you move abroad. It's, assimilating too much, becoming part of the society too much, where you lose yourself, you lose who you are. Man, I feel like I've lost so much of myself in the last few years, so much of myself. But part of it, the biggest part of that is I don't have that many friends out here. And that's something I've spoken about in the past. I think are so important, your friends and family, in terms of grounding you, maintaining who you are, because you surround yourself with those same people long term. You're always going to have that go-to. You're always going to have that safety point where you know you can 100% be yourself. And with my wife, I can, of course, and with my baby, I'm doing my hardest to raise her to be herself. She's half Thai, she's half British. I want her to be neither of those. I just want her to be her. If you can see it, it's beautiful. Mountains in the distance there. Really beautiful place to live. This is the nice thing about Thailand. And I love living in Thailand, by the way. Do not twist what I've said in this video. I love living in Thailand, but remember this, wherever you go, Korea, Japan, Thailand, North Korea, you're never going to be fully accepted as one of them. And that's fine, because you're not one of them. Why would Kim Jong-un anoint me as second in command I'm not North Korean. I've got nothing to offer him except comedy. And I don't know if we have the same sense of humor, although we do have a similar hairstyle. You've got the point that I'm trying to make, guys. You don't need to come out here and just submit. You can still be yourself. It's important. Remember, there's plenty of places in this world. You know where I'd love to go more than anywhere, or I wish I'd gone when I was younger? South America. I would have loved to have experienced that culture a little bit. You know, I've been to Mexico, I've been to Cancun for spring break one time. Fucking unbelievable place. So beautiful, but I would have loved to have spent a prolonged period, because for me, short periods, holidays, don't count. It's nice to visit somewhere, but unless you live somewhere sort of off the beaten path. If you come to Thailand, you're probably going to go to Bangkok. You're going to go to Phuket. You're never going to come to somewhere like this. Go to Japan. You're going to go to Tokyo, Kyoto. You're never going to go out exploring the little suburb areas, the little towns on the outskirts of the city, the beautiful mountains that overlook the city. You're never going to see that. And I know that not everyone can move around the world the way I have, and I'm not suggesting that you should. I remember I started this journey 15 years ago, and I'm certainly not saying that my life is life goals right now, but what I am saying is it's been a very steady progression. It's not just me thinking to myself, I want to move abroad because I hate the UK. I didn't even mind the UK, to be honest, when I was there. Don't know if I'd like it now. Anyway, see you in the next one. Bye-bye.